easy small handbag you can make at home with very little supplies and really no sewing skills at all. You're going to need just what you see here, a decent sized piece of leather, or if you can't find one, a decent sized piece of some kind of heavy fabric. And you can, if you just have leather in smaller pieces, you can glue or sew them together to make like a patchwork until you get a big enough piece. But that's going to be pretty durable. But if you're just gluing the pieces together, it won't be as strong as if you can get one whole solid piece. So try to get a whole solid piece. How big does it have to be? Try to get a little more than a square foot. If you can get a little more than a square foot, you should be able to do this. But you can adjust the size of your handbag. You can make a cute little teeny tiny one that just holds like a wallet and a phone. But it's up to you. This one we're going to do is going to be about, when it's finished, it's going to be about 8 inches by 7 inches, like one of those cute little like flat purses. Like they lay flat when there's nothing in it, and women kind of have them like on their hip with like a long, what are those called? Strap. So basically, piece of leather, a ruler, marker. You don't even need this leather cord because you could cut a long strip of leather, very thin strip to use instead of the cord, and I might end up doing that. Definitely need a hole punch, an industrial hole punch. Only like 10 to 15 bucks. So, you know, you should have this if you're doing any kind of crafting. Super glue gel. Get the gel. Don't get the red cap, which is the liquid that flows everywhere. Get the gel. You can get usually 2 of these at the dollar store for $1. So 1, 2. So like get at least 2 packs because there's not a lot in here, but this stuff is really powerful and it works great on leather. Oh, sorry. And industrial strength scissors, which again should only be 10 or 15 bucks, especially at like Walmart or Amazon. And something for a button. I got this little deer antler piece that I smoothed out and put 2 holes in, so that's going to be my button. But you can, you know, anything you want. You can take a pencil or something. I don't know. You'll figure it out. So here you go. Here's everything. Screenshot this or pause the video and write it down, and you're good to go, unless I think of some other stuff we missed. Okay, so here's the basic idea. We just want to cut enough fabric or leather that we're going to be able to fold it here and fold it here. These 2 sections should be exactly the same. And then this is going to fold up like this. So it will look like this, right? And then this is going to fold over. So it will finish up looking like that. Then we put our button on, and boom. Then we get, you know, we'll get a cord in there, strap in there somewhere, and there's our handbag, right? Super simple design. Now, when we fold it up like this, we're going to punch a bunch of holes in here. Now, if you want to do this with fabric that you can sew and you want to sew it, go ahead and do it. That'll work too. But for people who don't know how to sew or not good at sewing or want it to look rustic, we're going to punch these holes straight. Let me back up. First, we're going to glue this. We're going to glue this here and here. And then after the glue dries, we're going to punch the holes. Then we're going to come back with our cord or our thin strips of leather, and we're going to just poke it through here. Very simple, like that, very rustic looking. So the stitching will look like this. And here's the part where you can end it. So your very rustic looking little handbag will look like this when you're done. Now, if you want it to look less rustic, a little bit more refined, super easy. All you do is flip it inside out after you do the stitching. And all that stitching will be hidden on the inside, and your bag will look more like this. You will just see a seam, but other than that, everything else will be the same, and everything else should work totally the same. And so the rest of it is just the strap. I'm still figuring out how I'm going to do the strap. I think I'm going to take like about maybe 1 inch of the fabric and fold it over itself and glue it. Maybe put a cord in between, so we'll have like a kind of this kind of deal, and I think I'm going to hide it somewhere down in here, deep inside, so it catches some of the threading, so it's really strong, so you can yank on that thing and it's not going to pop out. But we'll figure that out as we go, because it's better to just do things than plan them, because if you plan them, then you're much more guaranteed they're going to work out. Whereas if you just do them, you'll probably get hurt a little bit more, and your piece will probably be more of a mess, but the amount of fun you'll have is just unparalleled. So let's do this. Oh, did I say you'll need a ruler? Well, you'll need a ruler. Add that to the list. So for mine, I'm thinking I want this to be 8 inches, which means this will be another 8 inches, which means this will be about, let's say 5 inches to be on the safe side. This hangs down a little bit more than halfway. So total, we're going to need 16 plus, we're going to need 21 inches total from here, from the tippy tip to the bottom, because we want to do it all in one piece. Across here, I was thinking about having it be only 7 inches, but then with the stitching and everything, that's going to eat up some space. So I think I want to try to do 8 inches that way too. So let's see what we come up with. And again, you can do a little itty bitty tiny one that just holds a phone, in which case you could probably get away with like 5 or 6 inches width, and maybe depending on the size of your phone and your wallet, like maybe, you know, 7 or 8. Give yourself a little extra room around the edges for your stitching and your folding and everything. But, you know, if you have a smaller piece of fabric or leather, this is a really fun thing to do. All right, let's do it. So with this giant piece of leather that was sent to me, it's kind of medium thickness. It's not too heavy. It's definitely not belt thickness, but I've seen flimsier leather. And leather thickness goes by weight. It's listed as a weight if you're ever ordering leather. And I would tell you all about the weights, but I forget what they are. So this bottom piece is already in the shape of kind of the overlay flap. So I'm just going to pretend that's the top here, and we'll work upside down. And this is a good corner. So what I did, I put a little dot here, and then I try to see how much of my leather I can get out of this. And I got, now if this is my flap here, now I only need 16 inches. So from here up to here, that's 15, so that would be 16 right there. So there's that. So I have this line. And then from here, I want it to be square. So get a book, get anything that's already square, line it up with your line neatly, and then come across, measure it again, and get your 8 inches. And that's how I got that dot right there. And then again, I want it to be square coming up. So got my book again, measured it up, and I didn't quite make it to 16 inches going this way. It cut off a little bit right there. So I'm going to modify it, and instead of this being 8 inches across, I'm going to make it 7.5. That will get me a little bit, that'll allow me to start a little bit further down here, and then I should be able to line it up better. Make sure your fabric is totally spread out flat and you have plenty of table room, because little wrinkles in the fabric are going to mess up how straight your lines are. If you have a speed square, and I got this at one at the dollar store, it can also really help to get your lines really square. Okay, this leather keeps moving and moving and moving. I keep making different lines and trying to make it square, and then the leather moves some more because it's a little floppy, and every time you smooth it out, the lines get a little different. So I'm just not going to worry, and I'm just going to put it together. If I need to make any adjustments, I'll make any adjustments, because again, this is rustic. So I'm going to start cutting, and we'll see what happens. All right, it's all cut out. Let's check it. Fold it like that. Then Not bad. Now I wanted more of this to hang down, so I'm gonna go like this, so I can get more of this part to hang over. I like that better, kind of like an envelope. And I want to go even further with it. I want even more to hang down. So I'm gonna say about like that. And yes, now it's a little wider than I want. I wanted it to be a rectangle that's a little bit longer, taller than it is wide. So I'm just gonna cut it one more time on one side, make it a little, so it'll be a little smaller than I planned. But that's fine because I gave myself a little extra just in case. All right, that was only a 1/4 inch off, but let's see how it looks now. I like it. I'm gonna do one more 1/4. That should be just about right. Cool. That's good. And when the stitches come down the side, it's going to look even skinnier. This is now 7 inches by 7 inches square, and that's fine. I want to give this a little more, now that I know how it's going to come around, I want to give it a little more of a angular swoop. So I'm going to go right that and a little bit like that. So it's a little off center, a little asymmetrical, kind of cool. There we go. Now you can just begin the next part, but I want to give mine some color because this is just kind of a very kind of a off-whitish, too light for me. It's a little bit of a canvas color, but I want to give it some more color. So always put another piece of canvas under your work so you can make 2 pieces of art at once. You can see this one was used already, but now we're going to add more to it. Now we let it dry. If you're worried about what the insides look like, you can spray the other side too, but I don't really worry too much about patterns. This is kind of light, so I'll just darken it up a little. Make sure you're wearing protective gear good mask, have good ventilation. Forgot to get the edges here. See if that came out on the other side too. Yeah, not really. That's good. While that's drying, I figured out what I'm going to do. I laid it up kind of diagonal against a fan so that it should dry faster. But for the strap, I got all these purses from the thrift store for like $3-4. And because I don't have a woman here to consult right at this moment, or any person who is used to carrying a lot of purses and handbags with long straps, to get like a general size that would kind of fit all, I guess I could Google it, but what fun is that? I'm going to take this strap off of this purse, and this is great because it's adjustable. So it will fit even if I need to punch more holes or lengthen it or whatever. So that's all done. I'm going to paint it, spray paint it to match the other, and all I have to do to get it off is pop it off of these guys. But I have my own ideas about how I'm going to affix it to the new piece. Those two just popped off, and then there's just a little bit of threading right here. And that should be it. All right. So as far as the strap goes, I figured this guy it could work, but it's a little bit thick and overpowering for what essentially is going to be a cute little small flat little handbag thingy. So I'm going to go with the real thing and just make like some little spaghetti strap that's like less formidable than this guy. So we'll do it from scratch, which is good for people who don't have an extra purse strap laying around. I did, however, use this to try to get the general size of what an average purse might be, because the one I'm going to make is not going to have a buckle and it's not going to be adjustable. So it's just going to have to be a one size fits all. And I figured out it's about 3 feet 8 inches, not counting the part that's attached. So I'm going to go with that. Maybe say 3 feet 6 inches, because this might be worn more by someone a little more petite, or maybe not. I don't know. You can make yours fit you if you wear them and you know how you like it. This is where having an incredibly long piece of leather that I just happen to have comes in handy. Although, if I didn't, I would just take pieces and glue them together. And if you glue them like two sides like this and glue them really tight, it would help to have some rivets. But I'm trying to stay away from the hardware for this, so everybody who doesn't have leather working tools can still make it. So, and this, but I mean, you can use anything. You can use some rope if you like. Be creative. So for this, but I happen to have the same leather, so I think I have a long enough piece here. So now I'm going to paint and cut out this. This concludes part 1 while I'm waiting for the strap to dry, now that I painted it to match the rest of the handbag. And stay tuned, part 2 is going to be even more fun.